The last project that Simlian developed was in Aurelle, and it was a huge success. Will it be a duplicated success this time around? This is Rivelle, let's find out. Hello everyone, my name is Vera and welcome back to another project analysis. This time around we are going to be talking about Rivelle, a new EC that is located in the Tampines West location. Now before I dive deep into the project analysis, this is my QR code. It brings you directly into my WhatsApp where you can ask me anything property related. What are executive condominiums and what makes it so attractive for home buyers these days? When you think of executive condominiums, it is actually a subsidized housing by the government. So yes, it is a Singaporean's privilege. So not everyone is allowed to buy a new EC. What kind of property is it? It is actually a combination of public and private housing hybrid. That's why it is typically the first port of call for many home buyers because you are entering the private property market at a very affordable rate. So some of my clients ask me, oh, if let's say it is a subsidized housing, does that mean that I don't get the things that I get if I go to a private condo? Nothing is being shortchanged. You still have your full condo facilities like your 50 meters lap pool, your gym, and your clubhouse, etc. The only difference is that you are entering into a much more affordable entry, about 30 to 40% discount. So bringing us back to the latest EC that Simlian developed, Aurelle of Tampines. This was sold 90% on launch day and fully sold 1 month later at an average price of 1766 PSF and 1966 PSF. Now this also depends on whether you are taking a normal payment scheme or a deferred payment scheme, because if you were to take a deferred payment scheme, there is actually a 3 to 4% markup. Now, Coastal Cabana, developed by Qingjian, just launched early this year in February, 1788 per square foot on average and 1889 PSF. Till this day, there is still units left in Coastal Cabana. If let's say you are into beachfront living, you want to have a mall right beside you, just one traffic light away, you want to have easy access to the park or to the beach, feel free to WhatsApp me. There are still available units and the show flat is still around for you to view. So now looking at the prices of Aurelle and also Coastal Cabana, in comparison to a private new launch, a very good example, let me take you back to March 2025. Now Aurelle and Parktown were actually launched about 1 week apart. Parktown launched first and then followed by Aurelle. And I do remember a lot of my clients who I brought down to Parktown, they actually wanted to wait for Aurelle to come out because of the price gap. So now you can see over here, Aurelle launch prices were from 1.6 to 1.7 per square foot, and Parktown launch prices were at 2.4 to 2.5 per square foot. So from here, you can already see that there is a huge difference, okay, a huge difference of 600 to 900 per square foot. So in a sense, there is already a safety net over there. So at the start of this video, I mentioned that when you buy into a new EC, it is actually 30% cheaper than private. So back in March 2025, when we were looking at the land cost for the new ECs that were coming up, Aurelle was actually priced the highest at that point in time. However, take-up rates were still crazy at 90% on first day out of 760 units. Aurelle was actually the highest take-up rate since 100 Palms Residences. Okay, 100 Palms Residences is located in Hougang, which sold out on launch day in July 2017. Diagonally on top of Aurelle is Parktown. Parktown Residences still recorded strong demand at launch at 87% units sold on launch day out of 1,176 units. So even though there is this huge price gap for Parktown and Aurelle, there are still people who has decided to buy Parktown. One EC, one private, launching within the same narrow window, but it leads you to two very different paths because these are two fundamentally different housing types. So this is not a question whether which project is better, but rather which structure fits where a buyer is headed next. So back then, Parktown, it was before the new cooling measure came out, the 4 years SSD, so Parktown is still considered under the 3-year seller stamp duty. Now, unlike Aurelle EC, you have to wait for 3 years for it to build. Then after that, you can move in, you have to stay inside for 5 years. So in order for you to decouple, you would have to wait for 8 years for the essential occupier to be able to come out and buy another property, which is what we call decoupling. Whereas for private, you can come out on the 3rd year before you even collect key. So before you decide to buy an EC, think about these 3 different things. Your appetite for immediacy, number 2, flexibility, and number 3, long-term optionality. Because these 2 different housing instruments are designed for very different buyer journeys. ECs are designed for the middle class in mind, hence EC comes with eligibility rules and a minimum occupation period to shape longer holding horizons. So from a planning perspective, EC's buyers often take a longer view, whereas compared to private, if your focus is on short-term flexibility, then ECs might not be for you. due to the minimum occupation period. You might want to consider going into the private route instead because it offers immediate flexibility and it's much easier to exit. And to those who can afford it and those who don't mind waiting, ECs is often seen as a stepping stone into the private property market. So now, because of this neighboring Parktown, right, with this huge difference of 600 to 900 per square foot, Aurelle actually had bounced out units, 7 of them. And within, I think 30 minutes to 1 hour, all 7 units were wiped out, even though developer marked it up about 150k to 200k. This goes to show that people still want to buy because probably of the location and also because they know that their neighbor is Parktown. It's not going to be difficult to sell next time because of the given price gap. So these are the following eligibility conditions. I'm not going to dive into them one by one, but if let's say you do not fulfill any of this, then it might be a bit difficult for you to try to buy a new EC. But there are still cases where I help my clients to appeal. So if you would like to find out if you are eligible, feel free to WhatsApp me. Now, let's dive deep into Rivelle, the main focus of today's video, right? Rivelle, developed by Simlian. Architect for Rivelle is ADDP Architects. So Simlian and ADDP, they actually work very closely hand in hand. So they never disappoint in terms of their architectural design. Same goes for Aurelle also. It is the same architect, like ADTP is the architect. It is a 99 years leasehold and the site area is relatively large at 242,000 square feet. The total number of units is 572 with 80% car park lots, which is a lot because given how close we are to the MRT, just 5 minutes walk away, 80% is actually a blessing because there are some ECs projects that are just 50% only. The estimated date of vacant possession is 30th June 2030 and legal completion is 2033. So these are some of Simlian's past projects. We have the very famous Emerald of Katong, sold out 99% on launch day. Rivelle of Tampines, 90%, Botany at Dairy Farm, Clover by the Park, Helium Mall and Residences, and Treasure at Tampines, which is also the biggest project in Singapore. Very nicely done. In terms of the location map, this is where Rivelle is located at. It is diagonally below Pinery, the upcoming Pinery Mall. So it is very easy for you to access to food and retail shops because Pinery is actually a mixed development, which means that on the first floor, there is food, retail, enrichment classes for you to go to. This is where Rivelle Tampines is located at. Surrounding us, okay, you can see these are actually all new BTOs. Okay, so these can be your future upgraders. And then beside us, we have Yoha, we have Safra, and we have Pinery Residences with a mall right below. This is the land parcel for Aurelle. And this demarcated line over here, this is where the clubhouse is, which I will dive into it later. Right below us, as you can see on the URA Master Plan, right below us is actually a site reserved for health and medical care. So that means it could be a hospital, it could be a polyclinic. And over here is where you have your community club and whatnot lah. And then below us is also place of worship. We're still not sure yet whether it's going to be a church, a temple, or a mosque. But yes, on the URA Master Plan, this site is already reserved for some place of worship. Now, diagonally below us, this is actually an industrial area. If let's say you just do a simple Google search, right, there is a certain distance that the developer has to be wary of because they are not allowed to position units that are too close to industrial blocks, okay? And this one over here is actually a B2 industrial building. So hence, in terms of distance, the units are put further away from the industrial area. So now looking to the right, you can see that these are all the 11 blocks. Now, there are 2 different side gates. This one I will dive more into the site plan later. But you can see that there are 2 side gates over here. And there will be 3 more proposed bus stops surrounding Rivelle of Tampines. So in terms of convenience, this is actually what you can get because you have bus stop right at the doorstep of your development. So you do have a fully operational downtown line, which is Tampines West MRT station. And in order for you to go there, there is a 24 hours covered pedestrian access through Pinery Mall. Brings you directly to Tampines West MRT station. Now, in Pinery Mall, there is actually 60 plus F&B stores. Okay, so over here, you can do your retail shopping, your supermarket, very convenient. You don't have to go all the way to Tampines Central because Pinery Mall already has it all. Now, in terms of connectivity, Rivelle is just 5 minutes walk to Tampines West MRT, so it brings you to your Circle Line, your Thomson East Coast Line. Now for young couples who are intending to start a family, this information will be crucial to you, which is the proximity to primary schools. Now within 1 km, we have the very popular St. Hilda's Primary School, and we also have Junyuan, St. Anthony's Condition, and also Tampines Primary School. Within 1 to 2 km, you have Red Swastika, Gongshan, and also Poi Ching. So because of this location, in terms of primary school, we do see that the Tampines West location for Rivelle is a lot more popular compared to Aurelle. Hence, we do foresee that there will be spillover buyers from Aurelle or those who intend to actually wait out for Rivelle. Now coming to the site plan, we have north-south orientation for all units over here. That is great because you have natural ventilation. Crosswind ventilation for north-south orientation is the best, and you also avoid the direct east-west sun. Now what I really love about ECs in terms of the block design is that it comes in a point block design, which means to say that you have only 3 neighbors, including you. There will be 4 units sharing 2 different lifts. So this gives it a lot of exclusivity, and you do not have to share with so many neighbors, 7 to even up to 9 units per floor. That's for private life usually. Having point block also means that your kitchen, okay, all units over here, your kitchens and your toilets will have windows, which means to say that you will not have issues such as molding because you have natural ventilation. Now over here at the bottom right, this is actually the clubhouse, whereby you have your facilities, your family function rooms, your pickleball court, your tennis court. So most of the family activities and entertainment are actually all tucked to one side of the development, which provides a much more peaceful environment for the residents staying over here. So this clubhouse, right, is actually very pretty. Later I'll show you guys the artist impression. They wanted to aim it to look like a GCB, so it looks very luxurious. Now in terms of facilities, there is a total of 70 facilities with 8 pools and also 6 gas barbecue pits. So over here you can see at the side there are all the different facilities lah. If you want to have a more HD version, you can just drop me a WhatsApp. I will send you the ebook for Rivelle. Now there are 2 different side gates for Rivelle. They are on opposite ends. So one is at Tampines Street 95 and the other one is at Tampines Street 92. In the future, these bus stops will actually be connected, sheltered to the future proposed bus stops. Okay, so you have 1 bus stop here, 1 bus stop here, and also 1 bus stop here, all fully sheltered. You can see over here, this is where the guardhouse actually is. So the guardhouse, right, is not right at the entrance. It is tucked inside the condo, which is good because it will not cause any congestion along Tampines Street 95. The ingress and egress is over here, where residents go in and come out of the car. So big trucks like your rubbish trucks and whatnot, they actually have a separate entrance and exit over here on the right. Okay, so it will not affect the residents who are trying to park their car lah. Speaking of rubbish truck, your bin center, your genset, and also your substation is located in basement 1. Okay, so you do not have to worry about noise or any blockage of views because they are all at basement 1. So this is how the clubhouse looks like. Just some artist impression for you. This is how Rivelle will look like with the clubhouse tucked to one side. You have your swimming pool over here and 3 different layers of residential blocks. I would like to dive more specifically into the covered linkway that I mentioned just now. So we do have covered linkway from the future proposed bus stops to the side gate. So the covered linkway is at Tampines Street 92, connects you all the way to the clubhouse and giving you a sheltered walkway to the clubhouse lift and then to the rest of the basement, which brings you directly to the different blocks. So you do not have to worry rain or shine, your guests will still be able to visit you without any hassle. Now in terms of unit views, 75% of them will be internal landscape or waterscape view. So same thing like Aurelle, you are either facing greenery or you are facing the pool. Block to block distance, standard is usually between 20 to 20 something meters. You can look at the red arrows where it indicates block to block distance. If let's say you want to avoid facing your neighbors directly, then I would say you can either go for the ground floor or maybe the lower floors like the 2nd or 3rd floors, so that you'll be able to see the facilities right below your house. Now I have also put in this elevation chart for us to look back and see, where are the different unit types located at in the development. So this elevation chart is actually very, very useful. I always use this with my client. So you can see that specifically the 5 bedrooms, there are 3 stacks. And then for the 3 bedroom, there is 6 stacks. In terms of unit selection, it is a lot more convenient and easier to see. Starting from the 4 plus study, okay, the 4 bedroom plus study all the way to the 5 bedrooms, your monthly maintenance fee is 455, and then the rest, the smaller units, will be 390 per month. Now coming to the unit mix, units starting from the 3 bedroom premium all the way to the 5 bedroom. So now we are here at the floor plans for the different unit types. First of all, we have our 3 bedroom premium. This is the smallest unit in Rivelle, type C1P at 883 square feet. 88 units, which takes up about 15.3% of the entire development, and I have also indicated which stacks are the 3 bedroom premium. What I really love about Rivelle, okay, is that there is a WC already, so you are dealing with 3 bedrooms and also 3 toilets. So it's not a 3 bed 2 bath, but it is a 3 bed 3 bath with your WC. Sim Lim is known for their very good layouts. There is no space wastage and whatnot. When we come into the unit, we will be able to see the dining area and also the living, which brings you out to the balcony. At the balcony, right, instead of the usual bar grills that you see in some condos, what Sim Lim's signature is that they have glass instead. Okay, and you can see this in Aurelle as well. So what I really love about having glass panels in your balcony instead of the bar grills is that, first of all, in terms of cleaning, it is a lot easier. Now, second of all, if let's say it rains, you have your zip track or your blinds even to actually prevent your balcony floors from getting wet. You can wind down your zip track or your blinds all the way to where the glass panel is. And this also allows light to come through, because if let's say you have bar grills, you will have to put your zip track all the way down to the ground, okay, because you do not want the rain to come in. Alright, this is just some extra information that I noticed while I am at the show flat. Speaking of glass, when I bring you to the kitchen, this is actually half glass, half wall. So why I love this is because it allows more natural light to come into the kitchen, preventing your kitchen from looking very dark. And then second of all, with glass panels, you can also look through, okay, into the living and the dining area. So if let's say you're cooking in the kitchen and your kids are in the living room playing, you can also oversee that. So because it is a point block, you can see that there is windows in your bathroom, in your kitchen, and as well as your WC. Okay, and then you also have a very sizable household shelter. Now in the 3 bedroom premium, right, besides the household shelter for your storage, you also have this extra storage, which you do not have in the 3 bed plus study, which I will cover with you guys later. There are 88 units, and you can see that majority of them actually have internal landscape views. Only stack 5 and stack 13 you are facing the road. And one more thing, okay, this is something that I would want to mention first because it applies for every unit here, is that these walls, okay, these are actually entirely hackable. So if you want to combine both bedroom 2 and bedroom 3 to make a very big bedroom, that is possible because these are all PPVC built. There is no worries for you guys to actually hack down this and make your entire living space look a lot bigger. Now coming to the 3 bedroom plus study, this is what we have in the show flat. There are a total of 153 units, takes up 26.7%, which is a lot more compared to the 3 bed premium. 926 square feet. Now honestly, there is not much difference in terms of the 3 bedroom and the 3 bed plus study. The only difference is, of course, you have an extra study, and second of all is that you do not have that extra storage. Alright, so now when you come in, you have your standard kitchen with glass, balcony with glass, and your 3 different bedrooms. Coming to the 3 bedroom comparison, I have put the 3 bed and the 3 bed plus study in comparison side by side. The only difference is that you do have an extra storage in your 3 bed premium. Okay, you see this SD over here, and for the 3 bed plus study, you do have an extra dedicated study over here. Now, my preferred unit, right, will be 3 bedroom plus study because first of all, there is not many units here in Rivelle, only 572, and we really do foresee that the interest rate for Rivelle will be very high because of the location, because of who the developers are. So hence, it is better for you to go for a unit type that has more options for you. Then again, it really depends on your family needs, it depends on your affordability. If the difference between the 3 bedroom and the 3 bedroom study is really not that much, then going for a 3 bedroom plus study might be the better option because you have more options. When you drop your e-app to wait for your ballot ticket, this really all depends on your luck. So if let's say you are one of the lucky ones who have a very good queue number, then this will not be that much of a worry for you. But if your ballot number is not that good, then having more options will be a lot better. Coming to the 4-bedroom, this is what we have in a show flat as well. This is type D1 at 1044 square feet. These are all the stacks, okay? So the only one that is not facing either greenery or pool, right, is the one at stack 43. The rest, you're either facing greenery or pool. There is a total of 145 units, which takes up about 25.3% of the entire 572 units here in Rivelle. So in terms of layout, right, you can see that the living and dining area is a lot spacious now compared to the 3-bedroom. Now when you come into the house, you turn to your left, this is where you have your kitchen and also your household shelter. In the 4-bedroom, you also do have an extra storage right outside the kitchen. By the way, washer dryer is provided. Usually ECs, they do not provide. Like for Coastal Cabana, they do not provide any washer dryer. But for Simland, they do provide washer dryer, just like how they did so in Aurelle as well. All your 4-bedrooms, you can minimally fit a queen size bed with 1 or 2 side tables. So as you can see, there's really not much space wastage over here. Now if you choose to make your master bedroom bigger, that is possible as well, because this wall here between bedroom 2 and master bedroom, it is hackable. So over here, you can have like your walk-in wardrobe or whatnot. But usually people who buy 4-bedroom is because they need the extra room lah. Okay? Coming to the 4-bed plus study at 1109 square feet, we only have it in stack 4, 21, 33 and 37. Only 52 units. Every one of them is facing the pool or greenery. Actually, if you ask me, out of these 4 stacks, if I were to choose the 4-bedroom plus study, I would choose the one at stack 21 as my number 1 choice, because I am not facing the neighbors directly. If you want unblocked views, you should be able to buy mid to high floor. So probably above 7 would be the safest. You do have an extra study over here, but this time around it is inside the master bedroom. Okay, so what you can choose to do is probably your walk-in wardrobe. You know, if let's say you have a lot of clothes and the given wardrobe over here is not enough. Over here, right, you can see that because the suggested dining area is over here, you can either stick with whatever that's suggested, or you can shift your dining area over here. But if you choose to stick with the plan, then this will be a very nice space for you to actually put a nice built-in shoe cabinet. Now coming to my preferred unit, comparing the 4-bedroom and also the 4-bed plus study. Now, this really depends on your need. Okay, if let's say you are one that do not prefer a constrained space, you know, you want something that's above 1,000 square feet, then of course, go for 4-bed plus study. But personally, because there are more units in the 4-bedroom, my preferred unit will be the 4-bedroom. Okay, because I feel that 4 bedrooms is more than enough, and I do not really need the extra space in my master bedroom because I already have, I think the master bedroom, it is the biggest room in the entire unit. So I do not feel that the study area is necessary. Now, in terms of comparison, the key difference between these 2 units would be the kitchen orientation. Now, you can see that when you step in the house for the 4-bedder, when you turn to your left, right, you are actually being led to the kitchen already. Whereas for the 4-bedroom plus study, the kitchen entrance is actually facing bedroom 3. So if given a choice, I would rather the kitchen entrance to be facing the dining. So when I walk out, you know, the dining area is just over here. Very convenient. Household shelter placement is also different because this one is, you know, when you walk into the left, this is your household shelter already. You do not really have to walk a lot. Whereas for the 4-bed plus study, right, you have to walk all the way into the kitchen, and then that's where you get your household shelter. And for your 4-bedroom, right, there is an extra storage over here. There is a study in a master, which I feel that it is not necessary. Hence, my preferred unit would be the 4-bedroom at 947 square feet. And the reason being is because there are a total of 145 units. Compared to 4-bed plus study, there is only 52 units. More options, less stress. Now, coming to the 4-bed plus study, type D3F at 1184 square feet, only available in 4 different stacks. 53 units, 9.2% of the entire development. The only stack that is facing the road is stack 14, the rest is internal facing. Now, you can see the flexi area allows you to have a landscape living dining instead of the usual portrait living dining. Okay, so you can choose to shift your dining over here so that over here is a lot bigger. It can be a play area and whatnot. But if not, you can leave it as a flexi where you can have your piano over there, or just create an extra room over here. Now coming to the 4-bed flexi and above, right, you can see that in the master bedroom, this is where you have your walk-in wardrobe already. So you have double panels on both sides. And balcony-wise is also a lot bigger at 10 square meters, a lot longer. So your views-wise is also better. So if let's say you want to have a alfresco dining, you can even choose to put your dining space over here, which can easily fit up to 10 people. Now coming to the 4-bed premium. It is the same size at 1184 square feet, just that it is only in 3 stacks, stacks 36, 39 and 44. Only stack 44 is facing the polyclinic or hospital or whatever that is there. Now, in the 4-bedroom premium, you will realize that there is now a dry kitchen. Okay, so when you walk into the dry kitchen, you will have a dry kitchen and a wet kitchen being separated. And then your dining space is over here. You also have your walk-in wardrobe as well. Now, my preferred unit, this is great in terms of comparing because both 4-bed flexi and 4-bed premium is of the same size at 1184 square feet. Only difference is that in the 4-bedroom flexi, right, you actually do have a bigger living and dining. So you can see over here, right, the total space is 35 square meters, whereas for the 4-bedroom premium, your space is only 30 square meters. Now, personally, right, you can see my style over there already. Why I prefer the 4-bedroom flexi. Now, the 4-bedroom premium, you can see that the dry kitchen over here already, right? This is already given by the developer, which means to say that you have no other choice but to put your dining area over here. So in terms of space flexibility, it is not there. I can only put my dining table over here. Whereas in the 4-bed flexi, because I do not have that dry kitchen, I don't feel that a dry kitchen is necessary. This dining table, I can actually shift it here if I want to. And then over here, I can have it as a play area. Yeah, so it's the flexibility that I like lah. Hence, this is why I prefer the 4-bedroom flexi. And on top of that, right, because this is a flexi, if let's say next time I really need an additional room, this flexi space, I can build it up to become another room. So technically, I have 5 bedrooms in the house for a 4-bed price. So this is the flexibility that I really like, which 4-bed premium doesn't provide because of the carpentry in the dry kitchen already. Coming to the 5-bedroom, the most supreme unit of them all, we have it at 1378 square feet and it is in 3 stacks. Stacks 12, 40 and 42. Every one of them is internal facing. So because you are paying a premium for the 5-bedder, obviously you will be facing a premium view also. Now, something about EC that I realize is different about private is that the biggest units are always the one that is getting wiped out first. So for Aurelle, you can see that the 4-bedroom and the 5 bedrooms were the one that was getting wiped out first. So your 5 bedrooms, you have 40 exclusive units, only takes up 6.9% of the entire development. Of course, you have 5 different bedrooms, of which you can minimally fit queen size bed. You have your dry kitchen, your wet kitchen. The thing about the 5-bedroom is that now you have a junior master ensuite. So this comes with an attached toilet. And when you move in along the hallway, you have your master bedroom and also an L-shaped wardrobe. For this, there is nothing much to compare because there is only one type of 5-bedroom. But if you would like to compare, you can compare with the 4-bed flexi or the 4-bed premium. Of course, 5 bedrooms, which means to say that you really do have a lot of members in your family. So looking at the price, once again, if it makes sense, why not? Do your calculation first because this is when you can know what is your affordability. Now coming to unit provision, they all come with luxurious premium finishings. We are given Samsung, okay, this is a 2-in-1 washer dryer, hob and your hood. You have Crochet, very good brand, and also a built-in oven that is furnished by Crochet as well. Now, sanitary ware and fittings, this is something that I would love to highlight because the brand given is Villeroy and Bosch. So Villeroy and Bosch, right, this is an extremely luxurious brand because you can find it in luxury hotels and even landmark projects. And hearsay, right, okay, not hearsay, you can actually go and Google it yourself. This tab that you see over here, this is actually retail price is $645 just for that. So this goes to show that Xilian is putting in the extra premium finishings for the residents over here. You technically do not have to do any renovation because the color scheme, the finishings, the fittings that they use are all great, all luxurious and premium. Land prices for ECs has been escalating through the years. You can see that from 2015 all the way to 2025, land prices is always on the rise. Aurelle, you can see over here, the land was bought at 7 to 1 per square foot per plot ratio It was the highest at that point in time. Break-even price was at 1316 after you factor in construction costs, and launch day prices were about 1.6 to 1.7 per square foot. And earlier on in the video, I also mentioned that there were Aurelle bounced out units that were marked up by the developer about $150,000 to $200,000 more than first day prices, which means to say that in terms of per square foot, it went all the way up to 1.9 per square foot. So for a new township like Tampines North, people are already accepting prices at 1.9k per square foot. Now let me bring you back to the land price for Rivelle. There were a total of 5 bidders and Simeon came in number 1. Their highest bid, for Rivelle was at 768 per square foot per plot ratio. After factoring in all these costs, the estimated break-even price is at 1380 per square foot per plot ratio. If I were to put in a 20% developer's profit, a 9% harmonization, because this is a post-harmonized project, we are looking at an estimated launch price of 1.8 per square foot. Hence, from my prediction, I think prices can go from 1.8 to 1.9k per square foot. But is it still safe to buy a new EC at 1.9k per square foot? Both City Life and QB Residences were launched at the same time in 2013. City Life Residences purchased at a much lower price because EC is at a discounted rate, 30 to 40% cheaper. You can see that in terms of the profit amount, City Life owners actually earned a lot more compared to QB Residences owners. This is because of the difference in purchase price back in 2013, about $300 to $400 per square foot difference. How is this possible? It is because of the new EC and the new private price gap. Back in 2010, the gap was already there. But as we gradually grow further through the years, now in 2025, the price gap is going as high as $500 to $600 per square foot. So because of this gap, the safety net is getting wider and wider. And hence, this is why EC is so attractive. Because if you compare to a new EC and OCR new launch, the price difference is always there. If let's say you are looking into comparing between new EC and a prime or plus HDB, why do some people still go for ECs? You can see over here, ECs have grown more than double in value over the last decade, from 2016 all the way to this year, 2026. Now, don't get me wrong, HDB still remains as an essential option, but ECs still strike as the perfect balance because of the subsidized entry price. You have your private property upside with full condo facilities, and you also have your growth potential. So, for those of you who had bought an EC 10 years ago, your returns would have probably doubled of those who have bought an HDB flat 10 years ago. I've always been a strong believer of buying an EC, and now that the gap is getting wider when I compare a new EC and a private, this makes it a no-brainer option. So if my clients have the opportunity to choose between a new EC or an HDB, I would really advise them to go for a new EC if they do have the affordability. For ECs, after you complete your 5 years MOP, you can already sell to people of whatever income. The bank will assess their loan through the 55% TDSR and not the 30% MSR which you entered. Whereas for HDB, they will still follow the 30% MSR whether they are coming in as a resale buyer using bank loan or HDB loan. HDB valuation will always be there, hence prices cannot go crazy. This is why if let's say you are planning your next move, ECs cannot be missed. Because where you buy and what you buy can change everything. This chart is very, very important and crucial if let's say you are comparing between a plus and prime BTO, or should you go for a new EC instead. In terms of MOP, plus and prime, you need to fulfill 10 years of minimum occupation period. In terms of subsidy clawback, do note that if let's say you get a plus or prime, you will have to pay a certain amount of money back, whereas for EC, whatever profits that you earn, they all fully go back to your pocket. In terms of renting, you are not allowed to rent out your flat if let's say you have already completed your MOP. Plus and prime BTOs, they already have a premium pricing locked into it as compared to the standard BTO of 5 years MOP. Next time when you were to sell, you would expect your future resale buyers to be able to afford it. But there's an income ceiling that is locked into this for your future resale buyers. Maximum income is only 14k, and those who are single, their income can only be up to 7k. And not only that, when they take a loan, it is based on the 30% MSR, which means to say that only 30% of their income is allowed to pay back for the monthly mortgage. In terms of the capability, your house is probably going to be, it's already located at a prime location, so it's potentially going to be $1 million plus BTO. With this restriction, how high can your price get? Whereas compared to EC, there's no income restriction. So even families with 30k, 40k, you want to buy this resale EC, feel free. Okay. Now, 30 months wait-out period for private property owners, yes, okay. So you must sell your condo or your landed first, wait out for 30 months, then you can buy plus and prime. And for ECs, no, private owners do not have to wait out. They can just sell and buy immediately. So it's these restrictions, right, that I always highlight to my clients if they are really choosing seriously between a plus prime BTO and a new EC. So what I will always tell them is delayed gratification. So I would like to bring your attention to 100 Palms. This is located in Hougang. So you can see the ones in green, right, is the profit that the owners take back on top of the sale price. For Tampines Trillion, developed by Simnian, this is the profit, $1.698 million. City Life, $1.693 million. So this is the kind of profits that you will see as an EC owner. Why? It's because ECs are purchased at a lower entry price compared to private condos. But when it's time to sell, their resale value often aligns with private condos. This creates a buy low, sell high opportunity, making ECs one of the strongest performance in terms of ROI. So I have done up a comparison of prices between Rivelle and Pinery. So over here, in terms of 3-bedroom, in Rivelle we have the 883 square feet, and in Pinery we have 872 square feet. So I have done up the prices for the per square foot in terms of ascending order for both Rivelle and Pinery. So in terms of the price gap, right, you can see that the difference is this range from 545 to 634K. You can slowly see the slides. I have all done it up here. I'm not going to read out everything, but you can see that the difference in terms of your unit type, as it gradually gets bigger and bigger, your profit and the difference gets bigger and bigger as well. So it is because of this price gap, right, that EC buyers are very, very keen. Then again, not every EC perform this way. Okay, you have to analyze and ensure that you have supporting developments around the area that will be able to support your price. And in this case, we have the upcoming Pinery residences and also surrounding BTOs. And these people are your future exit strategy. Just in terms of our surrounding only, okay, we already have 5,626 units BTO MOP in 2030 to 2032. Okay, we have Green Opal, we have Green Emerald, Green Quartz, Green Jade, Green Gem, Green Topaz. They all come together as one. So just in this small location itself, you already have your potential surrounding buyers over here. If you want to look at the entire Tampines region, there is about 20,000 plus Tampines BTO units. I'm not even talking about the old resale units. Very strong support demand over here. Now, I have inserted this price matrix chart over here for you to be able to, count your affordability. EC's calculation is a lot different to private. It's a lot more in-depth. So if you need help, it's always good to plan early. Feel free to WhatsApp me. We can have a separate consultation before we actually go down to the show flat. If you want to look at quantum itself, look at this range from 1.8 to 1.9 per square foot. This is where I feel that the average price will be. Now, should I wait for the next EC? Is a common question that I have heard before. Rivelle Tampines land cost is at 768 per square foot per plot ratio, and Aurelle was at 721. So you can see in my previous slides just now, land costs for ECs are increasing. In the future, you will have Senja Close, Woodlands. You can see these are at a much higher land cost, and the walk to MRT can even go up to 20 minutes, but land cost also so high. So in the future, how much will these ECs cost? I have went to check the HDB website. In terms of government land sales, there will not be any more ECs in the East for the next 2 to 3 years. If you want to lock in today's price, you still have units available at Coastal Cabana and Rivelle. We have come to the end of the video. E-application period, your show flat preview period, is from 6 to 16 March. Price release will be on the 18 and 19 March. During these 2 days, the price will be shown to you. Okay, prices are very transparent. Simlian will not mark up the price. What you see is what you get. They can only change the price 1 month later. So whatever price you see will be on the 18th and 19th of March, and on the 20th of March, you will be able to see your results on Zoom. Thank you for staying to the end of this video. I hope that you have found this video extremely useful. If you have, please help me to subscribe and also like this video, and also do leave some comments on how you think Rivelle will do. Till then, my name is Vera once again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!